Namaskar, welcome back to Media Scan, your weekend dose of headlines, controversies and perspectives. Viewers, the opposition came together once again in Mumbai to chalk out their future course of strategy. This is the third such gathering where opposition parties under one umbrella have gathered to challenge Narendra Modi after nearly 10 years of unchallenged rule. At the same time, the announcement of a special session of Parliament later this month may have compelled the opposition to clear the pitch and revisit their strategy again from a new angle. So, what does it portend for the coming days for the opposition and for the politics of the entire country, particularly in the light of the upcoming state and finally the Lok Sabha elections? We have a group of stalwarts here to discuss these questions and decipher the indications for the future. Let me introduce to you my first guest for this evening, Rashid Kidwai, joining us once again on Media Scan to share his perspective on the meeting in Mumbai, the outcomes and the possible indications. Welcome back, Rashid Kidwai. Namaskar.
Thank you.
Also with us, Shekhar Iyer, senior journalist, political analyst, keen watcher, observer of national politics, both the north and south of the country. Welcome back, Shekhar Iyer.
Thank you, Smita ji.
I am also joined by Desh Ratan Nigam, an advocate by profession who is a staunch nationalist, has his roots in the RSS organization and has been gracious to join us on several occasions. I welcome back Desh Ratan Nigam. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, dhanyavad.
And Rashid Kidwai, can I start with you, please? Sir, the Mumbai meeting of the opposition alliance, there are two questions that are being raised in the minds of people several times, both in the media and beyond the media. It is good that there are dozens of photo ops, a gathering of some of the senior most leaders from the opposition bloc, and there are lots of interesting statements coming, press conferences, etc. However, in substantive terms, sir, it's been more than 3 months when the opposition came together in Patna, subsequently in Bengaluru and then Mumbai. What exactly have they achieved when it comes to the brass tacks in challenging Narendra Modi? If I were to ask you as 1, 2, 3, have they really moved ahead? And if yes, how?
Yeah, so I think the significance is in the unity of it. The fact that it is a very fragmented opposition. Normally, the alliance politics in India, as Shekhar would vouch, is under the dominance of one political party. Like we have in NDA the dominance of BJP. During the UPA, there was a dominance of Congress. In the Bengal, in Kerala context, both the UDF and LDF have a dominance of the Congress and the left parties respectively. But in this India alliance, curiously, there is no dominance of a political party. So it's an assembly of equals, people who are very ambitious, regional leaders, as well as the Congress. So in that context, to answer your question specifically, the unity or semblance of unity itself is an achievement that there has been, from 26 to 28 parties and not 26 to 24 and 22 or 20 parties. So there is addition, no subtraction. The fact that, they are coming up and each time a meeting takes place, Smita, you see, there is a reaction to it. So last time on July 18, when we saw meeting took place, NDA also called a meeting and 38 political parties were paraded. At this time, we have a special session. So it's a mere coincidence, but it tells you that the ruling party has taken a note of it. So it's a bit like a psychological war that is going on between the opposition and the ruling party. And it's actually good for democracy if there is a contest. Remember, democracy is all about contest, not about consensus.
Fine, fine. I think that's very well put in very few words. Shekhar Iyer, I'll come to you. Very clearly, we may not be able to, the opposition alliance may still not be in a position, to count their achievements as in 1, 2, 3, 4. However, the fact that so many disparate parties and some of them, bitter rivals in their respective states are coming together in a show of strength, they are able to find at least some common ground, even if it is to stick together. Also, as Rashid Kidwai believes, they are keeping the NDA on tenterhooks. NDA is compelled, in his words, to take some steps, in a show of activity, which means they are also not totally unaffected. So you think all this can count as some sort of an achievement or at least movement forward, or you think that when you count the minuses, the pluses are too far and there is still no challenge even as we near the end of the year?
Smitaji, definitely there is a forward movement that opposition parties have been, trying to come together with an objective, which has stated objective that they should be able to put up one candidate against the BJP or NDA nominee in at least 400 of the 543 constituencies. No, this is a stated objective. And the fact that after July, then in Bengaluru, in between, then after the in between, you had the split in the NCP, one of the important constituent, which was a personal setback for Sharad Pawar. They are back in Mumbai. Mumbai is the state where all this is happening. So there are definitely opposition in terms of coming together. In terms of optics is fine, but when it comes to substance, there is a problem. Bearing their common displeasure or I would say their common antipathy towards Prime Minister Modi, there is nothing else working. After all, Uddhav Thackeray yesterday also said, we may belong to different ideologies, but we are together. Now, how much of it that will be politically saleable? By I can be this, I can be that, but we are together on something. But also the fact that even there are two, three things that is not happening. One, there is difficulty in projecting a phase, and I don't think they are going to project a phase even in the next Lok Sabha elections. Two, as far as seat adjustments, fighting together, there is too much, the devil is in the detail. Because you have leaders like Mamata Banerjee or Stalin or why even Maharashtra leaders, even the whatever is left of NCP, they would not be willing to, forego their areas which they consider strongest, and Mamata Banerjee will not give more than 2 seats to Congress. So seat adjustment at a national level looks like very difficult. That's
so tell me in one line, Shekhar Iyer, because we have Deshratan Nigam also waiting. Tell me in one line, is finally seat sharing going to be that real bone of contention where things may become really sort of difficult, or will it be the decision on a face or a leader? Which of the two is more challenging?
No, Smita, they have realized that at a national level, they cannot say that 400 we will be able to put up a candidate. They will rather leave it to state-wise and see what can be achieved, and this will go on till the actual elections are announced.
Fine, fine. So, which means we do not see too much clarity in the, in the near future. But coming to Deshratan Nigam, sir, you will have to admit that compared to previous general elections, and I am going back to 2018, even then the opposition had lots of, big issues to attack the government, including things like the Rafale. But at the same time, the opposition was not functioning as with the kind of commonality that is visible now. In the light of these recent developments, sir, do you think the nationalism pitch and, the attitude of bringing the Hindu Samaj together as a vote bank, these things may be sort of running out its course, and it is now more mundane bread and butter issues which will become the real issues of election, and on that count the opposition may have a better position? Do you agree?
Well, Smitaji, one thing is very clear. We have a 1977 example before us and how things moved from there. And secondly, when the opposition is trying to come together, and this is the third attempt that they are doing, I don't see an alternative vision, any concrete alternative vision which is there. And the kind of attacks the Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary makes on Mamata Banerjee is for everybody to see. So there's self-contradictory, stands that they have taken. Communists attacking the Congress, Congress attacking the communists. So these are visible to the people. The mere facade of unity will not do. The voters are very smart today. You will see, because of the seat adjustments, which will be a very difficult issue, you will see a lot of movement of people leaving various political parties and shifting to the NDA, because everybody cannot be accommodated. And that is where the BJP will have its own advantage.
So can I say that, the people who are supporting your ideology, they are banking upon the mistakes being committed by the opposition alliance, or do you have something new in your minds which you can present to the people when the time comes?
Smitaji, it's not, I don't think NDA government under PM Modi is banking on the opposition's mistakes. They are banking on their own positives and deliveries. The amount of deliveries that have been made humongous. state after state and the nation is given data where the achievements in a particular scheme is compared to a particular people living in a particular continent or in a country. So BJP and the ND are banking on their achievements. We went through a difficult times, no doubt about it. The COVID, the entire world went bankrupt. High inflations in other nations, but in India, yes, it was under control. Till now, it was 4.6%. Recently, slightly increased, which is seasonal. And tomatoes were an issue because that was because of the floods and Karnataka is stopping the movement of tomatoes outside their own state. So there were issues, and the government has been able to tackle it. The inflation is well within control. Employment, the EPFO data clearly says 58.8% new registrations that have taken place, which means new employment. So things are going in the positive direction.
Right,
the opposition has to come out.
Yes. Yes, quickly. So I'll just take a reply from Rashid Kidwai and also ask him, how does the opposition look or try to look at the new announcement? Rashid Kidwai, Narendra Modi and his government are proceeding on a certain track, along with the faith and the bharosa of their entire support base. But the opposition so far may be having only optics to showcase and nothing really solid when it comes to giving a real challenge to the government. So do you think the test of the pudding is in eating it? When the time comes for deciding the leader or the face and the seat sharing, all these optics may actually come unraveling?
Smita, I just want to ask one question to my friend, Mr. Deshratan Nigam, that if things are really, very good, government has performed very well, what is a sense of urgency for, this kind of a latest master's stroke that will be unveiled during the special session of parliament, whether it is, some form of legislation or some mega announcement. The government has done very well on economy, diplomacy, and all the spheres of there. Then what is the need to assemble, 38 political parties? On the one hand, you say,
okay. I'll paraphrase that for you. Quickly, Deshratan Nigam, if the government is so confident of its positives, what is the need to come up with such new headlines all the time? And why the special session, which could be, could spell some big ticket legislations, if I'm not wrong? Please answer.
Smita ji, one thing is very clear, that the BJP has its own positives to bank on, and anything over and above will be bonus. And this is what political parties do. They are in competitive politics to increase their vote share. So there is nothing wrong.
But the opposition is trying to show it as a kind of, a nervousness, what you are calling a bonus.
Yes, this has to be over and above the positives that they have already achieved. So, for example, if one is talking about one nation, one election, it was already there in the manifesto. They went to the people with that mentioning in the manifesto. They got a mandate from the people, and hence they are trying to implement. What is wrong in it? Well, at least there is a party which at least promises in the manifesto and then tries to implement it, and people should respect it. All this.
Fine. All right. Rashid Kidwai, Deshratan Nigam thinks the government is proceeding in its own well-planned manner. Whatever is in the pipeline has been part of their manifesto, their ideological mooring, and whatever is being done, what you called, a sort of a reaction from the government could turn out to be a bonus apart from their positives. Now, I will not dwell more on that. My question to you, sir, is how is the opposition, in your view, looking at this sudden announcement of the session? And will it in some manner compel them to revisit their plans? Because already the media is saying that suddenly a sense of urgency has hit the opposition.
Yeah, so I'm glad you raised this point. You see, there are two sides of that opposition or that India alliance we are talking about. There are regional parties like the DMK, Trinamool, Aam Aadmi Party and all. They are pretty well placed. If you look at their standing, most of them are chief ministers and they have a ruling party, etc. The weak link is the Congress party and, of course, to some extent, Samajwadi Party, which has an imprint in Uttar Pradesh. Now, unless these two political parties get their act together and able to challenge the BJP or reduce BJP's success rate, which which some say that it's over 90% of seats, etc., then the story will not change. So, of course, the lot of onus is on these political parties to, improve and do well. And that's why we have a round of elections also. I have a slight disagreement with my lawyer friend. See, the mandate was not on one nation, one election. I mean, how do you dismiss the elected governments? You can only, the BJP can do. BJP is in power and its allies in 13, 14 states. They can just dismiss those governments and go for a fresh election. That's fine. But you can't remove Mamata Banerjee. You can't unseat, Bhagwant Mann. You can't remove Arvind Kejriwal, etc. These are democratically elected governments. Please don't think that way.
So, Shekhar Iyer, yes, Mr. Nigam, you want to respond, but quickly?
See, I think one has to understand parliamentary democracy. It works through majority. If the majority wants it, then it can be implemented. And one has to at least admit the smartness of our voters. Movement of leaders in a bloc does not mean movement of voters. So let us be very clear, because our voters have voted differently in the state elections and the assembly elections. So let us recognize the smartness and the will of the voters, which have been very, very clear even in the past.
So we will know as we move towards the special session, and I'm sure all of you gentlemen are going to be around. We'll get together and talk when things are a little clearer. But Shekhar Iyer, for now, I want to know from you. You have already hinted on the leadership and the seat sharing question. I'll take some names here, which I avoided in the first part of the show. It looks like finally it may, bog down to Mamata Banerjee, Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal. Because whether, the Mahagathbandhan likes it or not, Nitish Kumar seems to be getting relegated slowly into the margins. But Arvind Kejriwal and his party are quite gung-ho about their expansion. Mamata Banerjee's party, they have already floated a banner to make her the PM. And it seems they finally may not cow down to, give I may say the limelight to somebody else. And Congress, of course, remains the biggest party. It has the biggest presence when you consider the area of influence. So how do you think the leadership question will sort of come down to? Will it be finally a fight between Mamata, Kejriwal and Rahul Gandhi? Or will the regional satraps finally capitulate and allow the Congress to take the lead? Or will it remain in the doldrums till the end?
Smitaji, I think on this question, it is going to remain open till the elections are fought and the results are announced, because there cannot be an agreement. There cannot be a, I do not see such an agreement coming before. And this is a candid admission by all the parties that every party will try to maximize its seats and then look at the post-poll scenario and see who is from the, nearer to the striking distance.
No, but from the voters' point of view, one second, Shekhar Iyer.
Just 1 second. From the voters' point of view also, you cannot ignore the importance of the Congress. Congress will remain the fulcrum of this alliance. And if this alliance has to be near the striking distance, Congress has to do very well. If Congress does very well, the credit is naturally Rahul Gandhi. Therefore, unofficially or without any official sanction, you will see cadres of the Congress projecting Rahul Gandhi as the natural Prime Minister choice. Similarly, you are seeing Trinamool is putting a poster saying Mamata is our choice. You will also see in Bihar, already posters are coming up saying that Nitish Kumar is most capable to be the Prime Minister. So this is going to continue. This will continue till the last.
No, but if such is the case, then, the BJP's repeated question to the people, to the opposition, which they throw every time, again, Narendra Modi versus who, will remain there. So how does it benefit the opposition, if at all?
So that is why the opposition alliance have already been saying that anybody but Modi, one. Two, we are only dealing with issues. We are not talking of leadership.
Okay,
that's a candid admission that there is a difficulty, huge difficulty.
So Deshratan Nigam, anybody but Narendra Modi, is that something which will really connect with the voters, this uncertainty?
Smita, you're asking me. I think, yes, I think that's the crux of the matter, because what is going to happen is that, you see, what we saw in 2004, same thing was asked. Atal Bihari Vajpayee versus who? Versus a question mark, and in a way, question mark won. So coalition, me and, Shekhar Iyer and you also, we have covered a lot of this era of, coalition politics. In coalition politics, the best man doesn't win, or best person. It is a compromise. that takes place. That's where we saw Deve Gowda, we saw Chandrasekhar, we saw Charan Singh, we saw Morarji Desai, and several others in the galaxy of prime minister persons. So I think the Congress story, as Shekhar was saying, will become important if the Congress gets more than 100 Lok Sabha seat. At this point of time, it looks very difficult. It's a very tall order, and you see the opposition and the non-Congress opposition, they are like Mamata Banerjee, DMK, TMC. They all are expected to do well in their respective states. So I think this question is being put, on hold. First of all, the objective of opposition is to deprive Mr. Narendra Modi from getting not only 272 seats, but perhaps less than 250 seats or less than 220 seats. Then only there will be an opening, and then this kind of tamasha and the drama will start that we and Shekhar have been privy to on various previous occasions.
Shekhar Iyer, it seems like it is a strategy not to allow the leadership question to become the foremost at this point of time. And it could be part of a strategy to keep it uncertain so that, all the regional partners, all the satraps are able to garner as much support as they can from their respective states. And according to Rashid Kidwai, we already have a model, a precedent in the case of 2004, because even though Sonia Gandhi was leading the alliance of opposition parties, there was no single name. You think that may still play out, considering the politics of the country has, become much more polarized and personality focused since then?
No, at the moment, the Congress party feels that is the most optimum approach that can bring dividends, because it has worked before. But things can vary as, we see events happening or new things crop up. But one thing is very clear: the importance of Rahul Gandhi in the alliance cannot be wished away by these alliance partners. They know it very well. And so if the Congress leaders and cadres are talking of Rahul Gandhi, it's a reality that they see that could happen in the future. So that is the way it is. And for Mamata Banerjee and Nitish Kumar or any other leader, Arvind Kejriwal, they can only hope that Congress gets enough for a formation of a non-BJP government, but not so much that their own ambitions are dashed.
Fine. I think we'll have to put an end to the conversation here, but some very interesting points have come out. Maybe we can carry them on in another episode with all of you. But meanwhile, thank you, Rashid Kidwai, for joining the show at such a short notice and sharing all your understanding and perspective about what's going on in the opposition camps. We'll get back to you again. Thank you. And Shekhar Iyer, always gracious to join us whenever we have requested you. Thanks again for sharing your views with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Viewers, after speaking to all those three experts, certain points become very clear. Number one, the BJP, the RSS and their support base are pretty confident that because this question of Narendra Modi versus who does not seem to be getting solved anytime soon, therefore there is not much reason to worry. But as Rashid Kidwai pointed out, not giving a name against Narendra Modi may be part of a well-thought plan so that all the partners in the opposition alliance are able to garner their maximum support, and the question of leadership can be tackled later, which has been done even in the past with some success. But will it work out the same way again at a time when the nation's polity has seen a lot of change? That is something we will come to know in the coming months. Until then, it's a wrap up on Media Scan for this evening. Do join us next weekend. Namaskar.